he has given in the written form was this Shikshashtakam, the 8 verses. And you can see, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't write anything, although he was naturally the greatest scholar of all time. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he didn't write anything. And the only thing he wrote, you can well imagine how important that writing must have been. And actually, the Shikshashtakam is giving us the entire process, starting from chanting the holy name of the Lord unto the ultimate perfection of devotional service. The ultimate perfection of devotion is Srimati Radharani, who is actually the personification of the ultimate perfection of spiritual achievement, devotional service. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave these 8 verses, which you can say is the essence of all scriptures, essence of all understanding, and the ultimate perfection of one's spiritual achievements. So, so in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was spending his last days in last few years in Vrindavan in the association of Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. So these are, again, 2 extremely exalted personalities. Like, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined form of Radha Krishna. So this is the identity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not just the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Supreme Personality Godhead together with his pleasure potency. The energy and energetic together. The Supreme Energetic Krishna and the Supreme Pleasure Potency Srimati Radharani. They became 2. They became 1. They became separated in the past. That's how it has been described. Bhubi pura deho bhedam gatoto. In the past, they actually became separated. That is, energy and energetic became separated. But then energetic and energy became 1. And that is Chaitanya Khang Prakata Madhuna. That is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so we can say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srimati Radharani and Krishna. And Swarup Damodar is Lalita Devi. And Ramananda Roy is Vishakha Devi. So this is how Radha Krishna with Lalita and Vishakha. And in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Krishna is relishing the pastimes. Radharani's pastimes with Krishna. That is why Krishna actually came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna became greedy to understand 3 things. That Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mohima Kidrisha. How is the glory of Srimati Radharani's love for me? And what is there in me that attracts Srimati Radharani? Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mohima Kidrisha Banai Bashabdo. Jenadbhuta Madhurima Kidrisha Ba Modiyo. Madhurima, sweetness. What kind of sweetness? What kind of attraction is there in me that Radharani becomes attracted to me? And loving me, what kind of joy does Radharani experience? Shukhanchasya madanubhavata kidrisham beti lobhat. By loving me, what kind of joy does Radharani experience? Beti lobhat. Lobh means greed. Krishna became greedy. Due to this greed for understanding these three things, the greatness of Radharani's love for him, the kind of love that Radharani has for him, what is there in him that attracts Radharani so much? And by loving him, what kind of joy does Radharani experience? So in order to understand these three things, Krishna actually became Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, assuming the mood of Srimati Radharani and assuming the complexion of Srimati Radharani. Radha Bhavaduti Shubalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Bhava is mood of devotion, and Duti, Radha Bhava Duti. Duti means glamour or the effulgence, brightness, brilliance, which is actually indicates here the complexion of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna assumed those two things and became Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, is experiencing that mood in association of Lalita Devi and Vishakha Devi. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking, here he is discussing about Shikshashtakam. His own composition, but he is consulting them with them. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shriya Koirava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyabudhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Parang Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the first verse, there are 7 points here. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The heart or the seat of consciousness, Cheta, is a darpan, like a mirror. It has been compared to a mirror of the heart. Marjanam, cleanses. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So the glory, what actually happens by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? That is being explained here through this verse. When you chant the holy name, what happens? Or what should happen? What is meant to happen? It must cleanse the mirror of our heart. And Prabhupada is giving the example. The mirror is meant to see our face. But if the mirror is dusty, if the mirror is covered with dust, then we won't be able to see our face. And what is that dust here? And this dust is the impurities of the heart. Kalmasha, the impurities of the heart. The impurities of the hearts are lust, greed, anger, illusion, envy, and pride. Now, when we chant the holy name attentively, offenselessly, then the heart will become purified. And in that purified heart, we will see our actual self. And as a result of that, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Bhava Mahadavagni. Davagni means a forest fire. Forest fire, bhava of material existence. Nirvapanam is extinguished. The forest fire of material existence is extinguished. That means no more suffering in this material nature. We transcend the suffering condition. So, chanting, the heart becomes purified. When the heart becomes purified, then we get to see our actual self. That's why it has been compared to a mirror. In the mirror, we are seeing our actual self. Now we are seeing our distorted self. That's this material body. Due to the impurities of the heart. Due to the impurities of the heart in the form of lust, greed, anger, illusion, envy, and pride. Now, when that is removed, then our spiritual identity becomes manifest, or we become aware of our spiritual identity. And recognizing our spiritual identity, bhava maha davagni nirvapana. The suffering condition that we are in, like samsara dava nalalita loka. We sing that, samsara davanal, davanal, davagni, means the forest fire. Prabhupada is saying that no one goes to the forest to light the fire. It just happens on its own and is practically impossible to extinguish. The only way that it can be extinguished when there is a torrent of rain. But here we are seeing that that torrent of rain is coming in the form of the mercy of Krishna. Bhava maha davagni nirvapana, the mercy of the holy name. So, bhava maha davagni nirvapana, the second point, the second thing that happens. Chetodarpana marjanam, bhava maha davagni nirvapanam. Shreya koirava chandrika vitaranam. Shreya koirava chandrika. Koirav means a flower that blooms at night. General flower lotuses bloom during the day with the rising of the sun. But this Koirava lotus blooms at night when the moon rays are there. Chandrika, and is very pleasing. So, Shreya Koirava Chandrika Pitaranam. Prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. Just as the moon, when it bestows its rays, the Koirava flower lotus blooms, the humanity receives the benediction from the chanting of the holy name. Prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. Then the fourth, Vidyabodhu Jivanam. It is a life of transcendental knowledge. Vidya Bodhu. Bodhu means friend and lover. So this transcendental knowledge is like our dearmost friend. It is the life of Jivanam, of transcendental knowledge. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. See gradually how things are happening. Our consciousness receives the transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means the knowledge about the spiritual reality, which centers around Krishna. So through chanting, we get to know who Krishna is. And when we recognize Krishna, when we recognize how to develop a relationship with Krishna, then only we experience the real joy. Because Krishna is the source of joy. Krishna is Anandamaya. So when we become connected to that Anandamaya, then we also become Ananda. We also become joyful. And this joy continuously increases. How does it increase? Because it's a loving relationship. The loving relationship is like one loves, the lover loves the beloved. Then the beloved reciprocates that love with greater love. Then the lover responds with greater love. So this is how the loving exchange keeps on increasing. And as a result of that, the joy, the experience of joy begins to increase, as if the ocean of bliss continuously expands. Anandam buddhivardhanam. Pratipadam purnamrita shvadanam. Pratipadam at every step, every step. At that time, at every step, purnamritam ashadanam, we get the taste of absolute nectar, complete nectar. It enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. We all are hankering for joy, and as if we are thirsty for this joy. And like this nectarian, the joy that is experienced in the form of this nectar is experienced at every single step, at every single moment. Like we become submerged in an ocean of joy. And as if we are drinking that nectar constantly at every step. Purnam pratipadam purnamrita shvadanam. Sarvatma snapanam. Sarvatma snapanam. Then the heart of everyone becomes completely satisfied. Therefore, let there be all victory to the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Parang Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be all victory, Vijayate, like in the Vedic culture, when we appreciate something, we say Jai or Vijay, let there be complete victory. Because let it become established and let it become victorious over and above every other impediments. So in this material nature, there may be various impediments, but this Sankirtan Yajna is going to conquer all those impediments. Especially at a time when you're facing this coronavirus, it is very important that we chant the holy name of the Lord with full conviction as a prayer. Because this is the only solution. Nothing happens in this world for nothing. This situation that the world is in was actually inevitable. People are committing so many sinful activities. And as a result of that, today we are seeing Mother Earth had been tolerating us for a long, long time, but now the time has come. Like Mother Earth is reacting, Krishna is reacting in the form of this tiny little virus. And it actually stifled the entire human civilization today. In spite of all our technological and scientific advancement, everything has come to a standstill. In spite of all our advancement, we can't deal with it. And that is what that is Krishna. No matter how powerful we may think that we have become, but eventually we won't be able to deal with Krishna. Now we are facing this situation. So how to overcome that situation? And this is the way to overcome the situation. Parang Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Let us chant the holy name with full conviction. This holy name is a prayer. The prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That please deliver me from this miserable condition of this material existence and allow me to become engaged in your devotional service. Allow me to develop my loving devotion to you. Allow me to develop my love for you. That's the simple thing. All we need to do is develop our love for Krishna. And in order to do that, the first thing we have to do is surrender ourselves to Him. So we are getting the solution to today's situation. I'm actually sending out a message, like requesting everyone to chant the holy name of the Lord, to pray to the Lord, irrespective of our religious belief, irrespective of our language. Let's all pray. So now I go to the next verse. Nam nam akari bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivam Idrisham Ihajanina. Nam Nam Akari Bahudha. My Lord, you have manifested many names of yours. There are many of Bahudha. There are many names you have. And Tatrarpita Niyamita Tatrarpita Nija Sarva Shaktis. You have invested, you have imposed your entire potency in all those names. So that is how powerful, that's how potent the holy name of the Lord is. Because the holy name is non-different from Krishna. Holy name is non-different from Krishna. And this holy name has all the potency of Krishna. Nija and Nam Nam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita. And now the name is meant to be chanted in the age of Kali. Chanting the holy name of the Lord is the only way for me to make spiritual advancement. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatirandata. Besides chanting the holy name of the Lord, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So there is no other way but to chant the holy name of the Lord in order to make spiritual progress. There have been other ways. Meditation is one way. Ashtanga Yoga is another way. Performing sacrifice is one way. So these have been different ways and means to make spiritual advancement. As you all know, for Satya Yoga, the means for spiritual advancement is meditation. In Treta Yuga, it is sacrifice. In Dwapar Yuga, worship of the deity in the temple. But the point here is being made that in the age of Kali, none of those things will work. That means by following these three processes, we are not going to achieve our spiritual perfection. We may get some benefit. Yes, by performing those activities, we may get some benefit. But the spiritual perfection is not going to be achieved by those processes. Chanting the holy name is the only way. And Here it is saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, in order to chant the holy name of the Lord, there is no restrictions or formality of time, place, and circumstances. Chanting of the holy name doesn't depend on any material consideration, any external material consideration. Like, there is no need for consideration of time, place, other things here. There's a consideration of time and place and situations. Like, for example, one has to, first of all, in other ages, to be involved in spiritual practice, one had to be a Brahmana, and that to a qualified Brahmana. So we can see how rigid the formality is. And then they had to follow such strict rules and regulations. But for the sake of chanting the holy name of the Lord, there's no consideration of rules and regulations. It says, Khaite shuite jatha tatha nam lai. When one is eating food, he can chant the holy name. When one is lying in bed, one can chant the holy name. In that respect, there is a very beautiful example given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or he arranged that example. One day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, he came out of the toilet, biting his tongue with his teeth. He is biting his tongue with his teeth. So devotees asked, what happened? Like, why are you biting your tongue like that with your teeth? Mahaprabhu said, see, I was in a dirty place. And even there, my tongue was chanting the holy name. Therefore, in order to stop the tongue from chanting, I am biting onto the tongue to stop it. There was a little boy, 5 or 6 years old. His name was Gopal. And he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if the time comes to leave the body in a dirty place, should we chant the holy name? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, oh, today I learned something very, very important from this little Gopal. And from that time, Gopal got the name Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru Goswami. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as a guru. He became Gopal Guru Goswami. So this is the thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pointed out. Doesn't matter wherever we are, even in the toilet, we can chant the holy name. Sometimes some devotees were under the impression that in order to chant the holy name, he has to take bath in the morning when he gets up. I said, look, Mahaprabhu pointing out, Niyamita Smaranena Kala. In order to chant the holy name of the Lord, there is no consideration of time and place and other situations like that. Like at the time of death, will you be able to chant? That's what I was telling you. So if you can't take your bath at the time of death, should you not chant? No. Sometimes when one is in deathbed, for days together, he cannot really have bath. Even after evacuating, he cannot take bath to clean himself. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so mercifully gave us this process of chanting the holy name. And we can chant anytime, anywhere, under any circumstances, and any body. As I was saying, other ages, the consideration was only Brahmanas. But in this age of Kali, the chanting of the holy name is open to all. Anybody, even the lowest class of man, Chandal, people, those who burn dead bodies, that's considered to be the most degraded occupation. And even a Chandal can chant the holy. So that is the glory of the holy name. Tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala. But then Mahaprabhu is lamenting on our behalf, playing the role as we are, as that he is us. Etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi. My Lord, you have bestowed your mercy in such a wonderful way. Durdaiva midrisham ihajaninanurago. But my misfortune is that I haven't developed any taste or attachment to the Holy Name. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity. And therefore you have many names such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in these names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy names, I am so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve the attachment for the chanting. So this is the thing. Like, why don't we develop our attachment to chanting the holy name? Because of offenses to the holy name. That's why time and time again we have been reminded, chant offenselessly. There are 10 offenses to the holy name. Don't commit those offenses. And then only you'll be able to chant. Free from offense. Then we will get the taste for the holy name. And when you get the taste for the holy name, then we won't be able to stop chanting the holy name. So what is preventing us, what is stopping us from developing that attitude towards the holy name? Because our offenses. Therefore, it's very important that we do not commit offenses to the holy name. So, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Ramananda Roy, I'm just running through quite quickly. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that this verse. Yeah. Okay, let me just read those points. Regardless of time or place, one who chants the holy name, even while eating or sleeping, attains all perfection. You have invested your full potencies in such individual holy name, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attachment for chanting your holy name. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the holy Hare Krishna Mahamantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna. And then he is going to the third verse, Trinadopi Shunichena Taroriva Shahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sada. Trinadopi Shunichena, becoming more humble than a blade of grass. Taroriva Shahishnuna, becoming as tolerant as a tree. Sometimes it has been also mentioned Tarur Opi Shahishnuna, but Chaitanya Charitamrita is actually saying Tarur Eva. Tarur Opi means becoming more tolerant than a tree. And actually, it is not possible to become more tolerant than a tree if we consider the qualities of a tree when it comes to tolerance. So therefore, Eva means like. Becoming as tolerant as a tree. Amanina manadena, desiring without being puffed up by false pride. Amanina means becoming proud with our false pride. And manadena, giving respect to all. Kirtaniya Sadahari, to be chanted, holy name should be chanted all the time. So when we'll become able to chant the holy name all the time, when we develop these qualities, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarori Vasharishna, when we become more humble than a blade of grass, and when we become as tolerant as a tree, and without being puffed up, without being arrogant, without being proud, we should offer all the respects to others. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is elaborating that point. I'll just read the translation. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, but is always prepared to give all respects to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Can very easily chant the holy name of the Lord all the time. So if we want to chant the holy name all the time, then these are the qualities that we have to develop. And as a devotee, we need to develop these qualities. Becoming more humble than a blade of grass, becoming more tolerant than a tree, and desiring no respect for ourselves, we should be prepared to offer all respects to others. So, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in a few words, in a few verses, is explaining that. This is actually, he's quoting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Uttam hoiya aponake mane trina trina dham, dui prakare shohishnuta kore brikhasam. There are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground. And like a tree, he tolerates everything in two ways. Two ways. What are those two ways? Brikho jano katileho kichu na bolay, shukaya moileho kare pani na magoy. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And even when drying up, it does not ask anyone for water. Jei je magoye tare day apon dhan, gharmo brishti shohi kare, kane aner kare rakha. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it still gives shelter to others. Uttam hoiya Vaishnav have nirabhiman, jive shanman dive jani Krishna adhishtan. Although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone. So his respect to others is not, first of all, artificial or vain. There's a genuine feeling behind this respect. And what is the feeling? He sees Krishna in the heart of every living entity. And that is how he actually looks up to everyone else. Ei moto hoiya je kore, je Krishna naam loy, Shri Krishna charanitar prem upajay. If one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this manner, he will certainly awaken. He will certainly awaken his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. কহিতে কহিতে প্রভুর দৈন্য বাড়িলা, শুদ্ধ ভক্তি কৃষ্ণ ঠাই মাগিতে লাগিলা. As Lord Chaitanya spoke in this way, his humility increased and he began praying to Krishna that he could discharge pure devotional service. So then it is going, প্রেমের স্বভাব এই যাহা প্রেমের সম্বন্ধ, সেই মানে কৃষ্ণে মোর নাহি প্রেমবন্ধ. Wherever there is a relationship of love of Godhead, its natural symptom is that the devotee does not think himself a devotee. Instead, he always thinks that he has not even a drop of love for Krishna. This is a real sign of advancement. When we make spiritual advancement, we do not think that we have become advanced. Rather, when we make spiritual advancement, the more we advance, the more we realize that I haven't been able to love Krishna. I haven't been able to become a devotee of Krishna. Then we go to the fourth verse. Na dhanang na janang na sundaring kobitang ba jagadisha kamai mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahaitukittvai. O Lord of the universe, I do not desire material wealth, materialistic followers, a beautiful wife, or fruitive activities described in flowery language. All I want, life after life, is unmotivated devotional service to you. So this is the prayer of a devotee. My Lord, I do not want anything, no dhanam. I do not want wealth, no janam. I do not want followers. Sundarim, I do not want beautiful wife. Kobitan, I do not want the results of fruitive activities that has been described in flowery words in the Vedas, in the Karmakanda section of the Vedas. You do this, you'll get that, and so forth. So that is called Kavitam. Kavita means, you can say Kavita means expression in flowery language. So it is considered the Karmakanda section is expressing things in this flowery languages. But they're actually misleading. They're actually misleading because they're taking us towards mundane sense gratification. Bhukti. Bhukti. The Karmakanda is leading us, Karmakanda section of the Vedas are leading to material sense gratification, bhukti. And Gyanakanda is leading to mukti, liberation. So both are rejected. All one wants, an intelligent person simply wants bhakti or pure devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord Krishna, I do not want material wealth from you, nor do I want followers, a beautiful wife, or results of fruitive activities. I only pray that by your causeless mercy, you give me pure devotional service to you, life after life. Mama janmani janmanishwari. Janmani janmanishwari, life after life. Bhavatad bhaktir ahaitukittvai. So all I want is unconditional, unmotivated service unto you, Krishna. So, in great humility, considering himself a conditioned soul of the material world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again expressed his desire to be endowed with service to the Lord. So today I'll cover these 4 verses, and tomorrow also we'll discuss, and tomorrow we'll cover the other 4 verses. So at this point, maybe we can invite questions. Shyam Giridhari, you are monitoring it, yeah? So maybe you can see if anyone has a question.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. I'll go share Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for
maybe if anybody has a question, you raise your hand. And then Shyam Giridhari can take the mic. Okay. Hari Bol, Shamkund Prabhu. So Shamkund Prabhu has a question.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
thank you
you
so
can
much.
unmute.
Can you hear me, Maharaj?
I think Shyam Giridhari Prabhu, you have to unmute him.
I'm controlling. Can you hear me, Maharaj? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shamkund
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Maharaj.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you so much for the explanation of this Shastakam. So Maharaj, the question I have is after the first 2 verses, right, which basically glorifies the holy name, then after the next 2 verses kind of are mainly the qualification which is needed.
Yeah.
So now are these qualifications sequential in the sense it talks about the humility first and then the detachment, right? So I was wondering, is it like a sequential qualities or why it is put it in that order?
Yeah. Well, you can, yes, it can be seen that way also. Like Trinadopi Sunichena Tarur Eva Shahishnuna. Like unless and until you become humble, you cannot become tolerant. A proud person cannot be tolerant. An arrogant person cannot be tolerant. Because if anything goes against his will, he flares up, right? Therefore, first of all, we have to become humble. And then only, you can say that is the first prerogative, first consideration, first qualification, as you were saying. And then only we can become tolerant. And when we develop these qualities, then amani, we become, we do not want any arrogant, we do not want any worship or recognition or honor. And then we can offer all respect to others. Yes, you can say they are kind of gradual or sequence. Thank you, Shamkund Prabhu. Yeah, who is the next question is? Okay, Divanam Prabhu has his hands up.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for this wonderful opportunity and giving us some time. So Maharaj, I have a question regarding this principle, Abhinnatva Nam Namino. Maharaj, sometimes I think about this, so we understand it theoretically that, Krishna's name and Krishna, they are non-different. But Maharaj, how to really understand this? Because, we understand the name is sound form, and Krishna has a personal form. So Maharaj, how to understand and how to think about it when we chant the holy names and to really understand this principle?
Good, very good question. Let's consider the deity in the temple, right? Apparently it's a stone or wood or metal, right? But is that Krishna? Right? So just as Krishna can manifest himself in these kind of material objects, right? Earth. This is the manifestation in the form of earth, deities. Similarly, Krishna can manifest himself in sound, right? The point is, you see, these are all material things. Krishna is not material, but mercifully Krishna manifests himself through these material elements for our benefit. So that we can reciprocate with him, we can render service with him, and we can see him, and so forth. And so just as, Krishna can manifest himself in the deity, and when you are seeing the deity, what do you think as a devotee? That here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme creator, who is the supreme maintainer. He is the supreme enjoyer. And he is giving me some opportunity to render service unto him. So that's due to his causeless mercy. Ahaituki kripa. So similarly, he also manifests himself in the form of sound. And that sound is Krishna himself. Just as Krishna is the supreme creator, this sound, the holy name, is the supreme creator. Like we, with our mundane eyes, may not see his form, but his form is there. Just as in the Murti, Krishna is there, similarly in the sound, Krishna is there with his form and qualities and everything. That's why Prabhupada time and time again pointed out, they're all non-different because they're spiritual. Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes are non-different. All Krishna. All right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
This is Nilamani.
Hare Krishna.
So, Maharaj, I have a question. So in the second verse of Sikshastakam, it is said that there's no hard and fast rules for chanting. We can chant anytime, any place, in any situation. But then also in various other places, we emphasize so much, we have to chant offenselessly, really focus our minds, concentrate, try to be seated in a nice situation and so forth. And these two always seem contradictory principles, right? One, we can chant anytime, any place, while walking, while doing anything, but at the other time, we also need to be very strict about it.
Okay, very good point. Very good point, Prabhu. Yeah. The thing is, there is no restriction for time, place, etc. But the name should be chanted offenselessly. Right? Now, inattentive chanting is an offense. Right? That's why, since we have to chant offenselessly, we have to chant attentively. So that is the consideration. Otherwise, time, place, there is no restriction. But yes, when you are chanting, you must chant attentively. Your mind, because you see, it's sound. Krishna is manifest in the form of a sound. How do we accept sound? How do we receive sound? Right? The sound can be received only by hearing. Therefore, hearing must be there. Attentive chanting must be there. The rest you can chant while walking up and down. You can chant lying in bed. You can chant, as Mahaprabhu pointed out, even in a dirty place like in the toilet. Like the chanting can be done anywhere, at any place, under any circumstance. But it must be attentive chanting. It must be offenseless chanting. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have one question. Thanks, my Bolobasis. Actually, my question is, how can we develop?
Can you show yourself? Can you have the camera on?
Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj, I'm from Mumbai. Dhanapana Maharaj, Bolobasis. Actually, my question is, how can one develop a love for holy name who don't have any faith, but at the same time we don't want to hurt their sentiments? Can it be possible, like in Bhagavad Gita, it says, "Swalpam apiyas dharmasya trayatu mayatu bhavat." In little things, it can help us to grow their life. So how can we compare
The thing is, you see, the faith is the very basic ingredient. Ado Shraddha. So if one didn't come to that stage, if that one doesn't have Shraddha, to enter there, one has to have the faith. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Therefore, yes, the faith is a primary consideration. It is not that, because, even the person doesn't have faith, we should go and try to cultivate him or try to make him understand. Like, cultivation is all right, but, what is the seventh offense? I'm sorry, what is the ninth offense? To instruct the glory of the holy name to a faithless person. So the instruction is, don't instruct the glory, don't try to instruct a faithless person. But cultivate, as I said, you may not give him instructions on chanting the holy name, but at least you can give him Krishna Prasad. And if he's innocent, if he doesn't have faith, but there's a possibility of developing faith, then yes, you can explain to him, as long as he's not offensive. Is that all right, Sumit? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Yeah, you can question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Thank you for the class. My question is about the hundreds and millions of names. So, it says in the, I think, second or third verse, Lord has so many names, but are all of these names equally powerful? Or are there differences in the potencies of different names?
There is difference. Like, for example, the names of the Lord. The names of the Lord in Vrindavan. The names of the Lord in relation to Vrindavan and Vrindavan pastimes, they're the highest, right? And like, for example, the names like Narayan or Vishnu is not the same as Gopinath or Govinda or Jashodanandan and Nandanandan. You see the thing, like, the Lord's situations in different region or different levels of the spiritual world, there is a difference. And accordingly, the potency or the efficacy of the name also differs. All right, Naresh? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Vamsidhari Gopal. You have to unmute. I think it's muted. We can't hear you. Hello, Hare Krishna, Vansidhari. No. Huh? There's some problem from your side, Vamsidhari. Radha and Dhruti, do you want to say something? Huh? Hare Krishna. Say, you have to unmute your.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
I can hear you very nice.
So my question is, you said that in the third verse, you have to become less tolerant as a tree, but and you said that an arrogant person cannot become tolerant, and you said that we have to become humble, but how do we become humble?
How do we become humble? Very good question. How do we become humble? The way to become humble is by recognizing how great Krishna is. When we see how great Krishna is, then automatically we see how small we are. And also when we see how great Krishna's devotees are in relation to their greatness, we see our minuteness and we become humble. So it is in relation to Krishna and Krishna's devotees we become humble. But if we are in seeing ourselves in relation to the material nature, where everything is inferior to us, then it is impossible to become humble. So the only way one can become humble, truly humble, is by developing his devotion to Krishna. Does it answer your question? Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Anandarupa Devidasi.
Hare Krishna Anandarupa, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for giving such a wonderful class. Maharaj, in life, I'm talking for myself, I do some things which give me pleasure, like dressing the deities, cleaning the temple and things like that. And one of the qualities of chanting holy name is that it gives a transcendental bliss. So if I don't get transcendental bliss, then I feel that chanting becomes a burden for me. So what should I do to get that transcendental bliss so that I feel like chanting, it becomes like I have to chant because I have taken a vow in front of deities and in front of my spiritual master. But if it gives me transcendental bliss, then I will keep chanting again and again,
Yeah, very good question. You see, there are two stages of devotion, the practicing stage and perfected stage, right? Sadhana bhakti and prema bhakti. So at the sadhana bhakti stage, we are practicing, and the practicing stage is difficult. Because in practicing stage, you're not getting the taste, right? To get the taste, it has to become to the, at least, develop the love for Krishna. And when the love develops, and the love will develop through the practice, by practicing devotional service, sadhana bhakti. And it will happen. It will happen in course of time. So don't feel discouraged if it doesn't come. Yes, practicing stage is a burden, right? Do you know how to ride a bicycle? You know. So when you are did you learn to ride the bicycle straight away? You have to practice. When you're practicing, how many times you fell and got hurt? Right? But you continue to practice, and then all of a sudden one day you found yourself, you got the balance and you started to ride the bicycle. Similarly, by practicing, all of a sudden we'll find that the love has developed and we're getting the taste. And that is it. That is it. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Yes, please go ahead. Can you give her the mic?
Yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So, so in Mahabharata, in Ramayan, Who is Bharat and Shatrughna?
Example of Jevita Balram Jayashe.
Like,
Okay. Very good. I was thinking, who is Bharat and Shatrughna? I was about to say Bharat and Shatrughna.
So, like in Sheshnag is an example of Lakshman. So that's why.
I got it. Yeah. You see, in Ramayana, Bharat and Shatrughna, who they are. Like Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Right? Ramchandra is Vasudev, Lakshman is Shankarshan, and Bharat is Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is Aniruddha. All right. The Chaturbuha, Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha came as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna. All right. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Bol.
I have more taste in Kirtan than Japa. So how do I increase the taste for Japa also?
Increase the taste of Japa. Like you can at least, keep on chanting certain number. Like that is, as I mentioned, practicing. Right? So practicing and perfect. Right? So when you practice, and when you keep on practicing, then you'll get the taste. Like, for example, sometimes, I think you would remember, sometimes when you were young, when you were a child, when you're younger than now, you didn't want to eat, right? But your mother forced you to eat. Did it happen to you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then, when you started to get the taste of the food, then does your mother have to force you to eat?
No.
Okay. So it's a matter of getting the taste. Right? And the taste will come by chanting.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Pranams. All Pratishar Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, my question is from second verse. There, Prabhupada writes that there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. And like as Prabhuji asked also that so my question is chanting our japa and remembering the names is the same?
Yeah. Like all three are there. Hearing, chanting, and remembering. Right? So he used that, this. But like chanting means when you chant and you hear, and when you hear, then you remember. So all three are in one body. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other question? Yes. Shyam Gopal, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, just want to add one realization from my side. As you said, we have to understand who Krishna is to develop our humbleness. So I just got one thing. So when I was just watching Little Krishna with my son, Krishna will be opening his mouth and millions and millions of stars he will be showing the millions and millions of stars in his mouth to Mother Yashoda. So we are fighting for small piece of land, especially in India. That people's dream would be building a house in a 600 square feet land or 1000 square feet land. So their aim is to build a small piece of home in a small piece of land. But still there are millions and millions of planets, and then unless we doesn't know who Krishna is, we may not be able to move out of this material world attachment. Unless we move out of that attachment, we may not able to move out of this material world.
Yeah, yeah. Right. And that attachment will develop by hearing about Krishna. As you were saying, like you got to know how great Krishna is, how wonderful Krishna is. And like that will enable us to develop our attachment. Thank you. So, okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.